When most people picture someone wealthy, they imagine luxury cars, giant homes, and expensive clothes. But in reality, many people that are wealthy don't look wealthy at all. They often live in normal neighborhoods, drive practical cars, and avoid flashy spending. From the outside, they might look like just everyone else. That's because building wealth usually isn't about showing money, it's about how money is managed behind the scenes. The habits that grow wealth tend to be quiet and easy to miss. They're not dramatic investment tricks or secret opportunities. Instead, they're small financial behaviors repeated consistently over many years. And those habits can slowly create a huge gap between people who look rich and people who actually become wealthy. So, in this video, we're going to break down 5 hidden habits wealthy people often follow that most people rarely notice. As a quick note, this is educational, not financial advice. Imagine getting a big raise at work. What's the first thing that many people do? They upgrade their lifestyle, a nicer car, a bigger house, more expensive vacations. This pattern is called lifestyle inflation, when spending rises every time income rises. But many wealthy people do something different. Instead of upgrading everything, they keep their lifestyle relatively stable while their income increases. The extra money doesn't disappear into bigger bills. Instead, it gets redirected towards investment and long term wealth building. If your income raises by 10%, but your spending only rises by 5%, the remaining gap becomes fuel for building wealth. Over time, that difference compounds dramatically, and that leads to the next hidden habit. If wealthy people aren't spending the extra money, where does it go? One quiet pattern among wealthy people is that they often prioritize buying assets before lifestyle upgrades. An asset is something that can grow in value or produce income over time. Things like investments, businesses, or rental property. Instead of thinking, what can I buy with this money? They often think, what can I buy that might grow this money? For example, someone might invest extra income first and only increase lifestyle spending later if their investments perform well. Assets can begin producing income on their own, which means over time your money starts working for you instead of requiring constant work. That's why many wealthy people focus heavily on building investment portfolios early. But this strategy only works if you think long term, which leads directly into the next habit. One of the biggest differences between wealthy investors and average investors is time horizon. Many people focus on what their money is doing this month or this year, but wealthy individuals often think in terms of 10, 20, or even 30 years. This long term thinking allows them to stay invested during market ups and downs instead of constantly reacting to short term news. Compounding needs time. The longer money stays invested, the more dramatic the growth can become. A small investment growing steadily for decades can eventually become much larger than a bigger investment that's constantly interrupted. But long term thinking also requires something else: protecting the one resource you can never get back: your time. Many wealthy people eventually realize that money isn't their most valuable asset. Time is. That's why you'll often see successful individuals focusing intensely on how they spend their time. They try to spend more time on high value activities, things that generate income, build businesses, or improve important skills. Lower value tasks are often automated, simplified, or delegated when they can. When your time goes towards high impact work, your earning potential and opportunities often increase dramatically. In other words, managing time well can indirectly increase income over the long run. But even with good time management, building wealth still requires one more critical habit: controlling emotions around money. Financial markets can be emotional places. When prices fall, fear spreads quickly. When prices rise fast, excitement and hype take over. Many people react emotionally in both directions, selling in panic during downturns and buying aggressively during hype cycles. But wealthy investors often try to stay more disciplined. Instead of reacting to every headline or market move, they rely on long term plans and investment strategies. avoiding major emotional mistakes can sometimes matter more than finding the perfect investment. A steady plan that stays invested for decades can outperform strategies that constantly jump in and out. And when you combine that discipline with the other habits that we talked about, something interesting begins to happen. When people imagine wealth building, they often picture dramatic moments, huge stock wins, lucky investments, or overnight success. But in reality, wealth is usually built much more quietly. It comes from avoiding lifestyle inflation, buying assets, thinking long term, protecting time, and staying emotionally disciplined. None of these habits are flashy, but repeated consistently over decades, they can create outcomes that look extraordinary from the outside. And that's why many wealthy people seem almost invisible financially, because the habits that built their wealth rarely draw attention. They simply repeat small, smart decisions for a very long time. And over time, those quiet habits can compound into something surprisingly powerful.